Hey there, YouTube family. This is Josh with Stocks with Josh, and I'm here with my man.
What's up, good people? It's Larry Jones from Stock Up with Larry Jones.
Hey, and we listened to you guys. We asked you last week to give us the stocks that you wanted us to cover, and that's what this video is. 10 stocks. It's going to be 5 stocks and 5 cryptos in 10 minutes. Before we begin, don't forget, hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell so you can get the Wallstreet Wednesdays moving forward. Anything that we say is not a suggestion to
buy, hold, or sell, and make sure not to fall for any spam in the comment section.
So we're going to just briefly discuss some of the fundamentals very quickly, and we're going to look at the charts, give you guys some basic entry and exit, potential entry and exits that we would be looking at. Now, the first stock is actually quite interesting, and it was brought to my attention by Mr. Jones. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the fundamentals of this company?
Well, I will tell you, because we have an upcoming Fed meeting later today, that I didn't do a deep fundamental dive on it here recently. When I got into it, you talking about Nat?
Nat, yes.
Okay, so we're just gonna. I think because they asked for 10 at 10, I can be quite lengthy in the fundamentals because there's a lot to learn. I think we just need to just stick with
all right.
In, out, boom, boom, boom.
Okay, well then let's just do this. I'm going to show you guys NAT on the charts.
Yep, look at the ticker symbol.
It is NAT. It's currently at $2.65. Larry brought this to my attention, and I immediately put it on my list to watch because it's performing pretty good. This is a shipper company, tanker shipper company. These are the type of assets that are going to perform well because the cost of goods is going to go up and the cost of transporting those goods is also going to go up. So this has actually not been suffering the losses that we see. It's held a really, really great support line. You know, I love those support lines. And right now it's up touching its line of resistance. And that's when everything else is down on the bottom. Nat is pushing up on the top. I'm going to quickly say the things I love. I love the RSI down here that is showing bullish divergence. That's what we love to see. I'm going to tell you guys right now, it's pushing against 342. We do have a red wick here, which is showing resistance. But I think that we have a clearly defined line of support. I'm going to give that to you guys right now. It's around the $1.85, and we are going to probably, every time this pulls back, I'm going to consider building a position, and I'm going to be looking for it to break above the 338 in the coming days. I believe that it's very likely that we will get back into this higher range and trade. I think that this is kind of the action I'm looking at, and so we need to keep our eye on Nat moving forward.
Hey, I want you guys to look at Nordic American Tanker, which is NAT. I want you to go to www.yahoofinance.com and see what they do, shipping, tanking, tankers, and tankers. Check out and see what they do. Ditto, I agree with Josh 100%. Next stock.
Okay, our next stock is Nile. Let's just look at the charts and talk about that briefly. So Nile, okay, obviously, Nile's come down. If you're a bag holder on Nile, there's a lot of bag holders on Nile right now. Yes. There was a lot of support at this level of around the $2 range. We're down to our historic support. If you're going to get into a stock, or if you're going to dollar cost average, this is the range to do it. I will just want to point this out to you guys. You can't look at this past. This, you have to realize we're done with that. Okay, we're done. We're in this era right now, and this. So do not try to. You can't. If you own this stock over in this zone, you got to kind of forget about that because you guys are trading the zone between 36 cents and $1. That's going to be your first area zone you're going to trade. And if we broke above $1 and if we reestablished it as a support line, then the next range would be between $1 and $2.20. So keep in mind, we trade ranges. You've got to let go of the past. If you lost a bunch of money on it, you might find yourself in the range where it's actually a great buy, but now you're just staring at this money that you've lost. But if you
don't chart with your heart, we're in a different pattern now. And so adjust your plays to this pattern.
Yeah, we are between 36 cents and $1. That has to be proven. That level has to be proven. We've got to break above it. Then we've got to test $1. It's got to show that it holds. And then we could look at the $1 to $2. We got to trade the range moving forward on Nile.
Correct. And if you're bag holding, this does not mean to sell everything, because these patterns can get higher and higher. These ranges, these trading ranges, could either get lower or higher. And so we're not saying sell, for those of you that bought it at the top, right? So just know that.
All right. Our next stock is PayPal. Larry and I have talked about PayPal. All of these stocks were given to us by you guys. PayPal is one that we like.
Yes.
You maybe give a few thoughts.
Hey, PayPal, fintech is banking. All right. They got a banking charter. Okay. We know that the younger generation are not going to traditional banks. We like fintech, financial and technical, and so what happens is I personally think that it is oversold. I think that the PE is reasonable. I think that it's oversold and will soon be grossly oversold. Actually, some think that it's already grossly oversold for a long term. So we're going to show you short terms. But even at this price, if you get it and it comes down a little lower, I would not fret. You're going to make money on PayPal, I believe.
PayPal is a technology company. A lot of people, some people don't know that Elon Musk, that was where he made his first billion, was through PayPal. PayPal, from the time he owned it till now, has proven to be ahead of traditional banking. I actually use PayPal a lot. I move a lot of money in PayPal. I think it's actually one of my preferred banks. I've got the debit card, the credit card, with business credit card with PayPal.
Yes.
And I find that I'm moving in that direction just as a customer.
Yeah.
And so let's look at the stock real quick.
Yes.
So I'll just tell you that I think that PayPal has gotten ridiculously oversold.
Yep.
We're down in the oversold territory, which is kind of hard to get down to. Anything below the zero part on the RSI is bearish territory. So we're obviously been in bearish territory. We have bullish divergence on it, and we're down to the historic lows. We're down at support. But I'm going to say this regarding PayPal. Trade the range. The current range, the low of the range is around $75. The next range above is 100. So if you're looking at this as a vehicle of investment, don't look at that big mountain that it came off of.
Right.
Right now we're at 70. We're at 88, 86. We have the potential of coming back to $75, $76. So there's a $10 drop beneath us.
Correct.
And there is another $15 ceiling above us. And so just be aware of the range on PayPal. But I personally think PayPal is going to be a sound investment. It's in my top 10 long-term investments.
Actually long-term. So like he said, remember, a lot of these the entire stock market was overvalued, right? The multiples were ridiculous. Now they're coming back to reasonable. And some of them have dropped below what's reasonable. I think PayPal is one of those that are long-term. Let's go to the next.
Yeah, I will throw one other thought that you got to be mindful that everyone in the market right now is selling the rips.
Yep.
Okay, they're selling the rips. So if we did have a great big pump up on PayPal, just don't think it's going back to $310 here tomorrow.
It's not happening.
It's not going to happen.
Yep.
All right, Ford. We're going to jump into Ford. Any thoughts on Ford, Mr. Jones?
Yes. As far as Ford and GM, let's just say legacy car companies, I bet on Ford over GM. As far as electrification, Ford, we know that they're splitting the company into two. They actually is going. They got an electric version and a gas version of the company within itself. So they're literally splitting the company, and you know that they are building a battery factory, and they are aggressively going after electrification, because in the earnings call, that's all they talked about. The CEO, all he's been talking about is, we want to be number one over Tesla, right? So now they're forward thinking, right? And so that's going to increase their revenue over years, all right? So as far as an American legacy car company, I put my money on Ford.
All right. Hey, we talked about Ford around the time it was around 1750.
Yep.
And I thought the fundamentals were great.
Yeah.
And but I was bearish on the price at that moment.
I started loading up at 10. You remember?
Yes.
At $10, and because I see where they're headed.
I think that where they're headed is going to. They're just headed there in the middle of a bearish market.
Absolutely.
And so what we're going to do and look again there is what's the price range that we should be looking at to trade for.
For now.
Exactly. When we get through this mess, that's a whole other.
It's a whole nother deal.
thing. Let's look at the charts. So Ford, right? I'm going to tell you that I don't see bullish divergence on the charts. Something to be mindful of. I identify that the support that I see that is very possible that we could hit is 1280. We're actually at a support right now. This is a support. Right, we're sitting on a support at 1436, and so it's amazing all these companies that have been waiting for this Fed meeting, Larry, that have come down to they're sitting on their support. We're hours away to know whether it's going to break below or take off.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a scary moment.
It is.
Let's look at that chart again. So we're sitting on support as we speak. I identify the next level of support beneath that to be 1280, and I'm going to tell you that if we trade the range in this, if we have some rips, and some dips, I'm saying the top of that range is 19. I'm going to say that if we do come down to 1280, the top of the range is going to be around 16. So just be mindful of that.
And then there's short term. We're not going to get into that. There's short term are range bound trading that we could do for right now. But then this is one of the ones that I believe this is one of the ones I'm dollar cost averaging in long term. And we started dollar cost averaging into this around the $10 range. So we're good. Let's go to the next one.
Hey, let's take a station break. Please take a minute to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Yep. And I can just tell already that we always have so much to cover.
Yes.
Let's do this. Let's shoot the remainder of the. We're gonna wrap this one up here. Okay.
Okay, that's cool.
And then we're gonna come back and we're gonna film right now the 5 cryptos.
Okay.
Before we take off, I want to remind you guys we're in the small account challenge. This thing is just heating up.
Right.
Download the Moo. It's in the link of the description of this video. Fund it with $100.
Yes.
I'm trying to educate and help you guys. We have so much that we can do on this challenge, right? It has barely begun, and it's going to evolve from one thing to the next.
You're not too late. So just deposit $100 just to get started, right? And go from there. They're going to give you some free stock. Now they're talking about 5 free stock. And what a lot of people don't know is that you can get up to $3,500 per stock. So just put $100 in there to get started. You're not late. So when it does clear, you can literally start from where you are.
Now, if you guys want us to cover a stock you're interested in, you have to put it in the comment section and we'll look at it again for next week. Thank you for letting me be part of your financial journey. And Larry?
Live, love, laugh, and learn, good people.
See you in the next video.
See you.